The asking price for Dejounte Murray has been revealed, and I'm here to break it all down. All that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel from Knicks Digest, and I want to get right into today's video. So Jake Fisher from Yahoo Sports recently posted an article talking about different players being rumored to be in the trade rumor mill. And one of the players is Dejounte Murray. And within that article, Jake Fisher has been able to reveal that the Atlanta Hawks is asking for 2 first-round picks and a starting level type player for Dejounte Murray. Now, before I give my thoughts on the New York Knicks possibly throwing their name in the hat, I do want to take a look at Dejounte Murray's season thus far with the Atlanta Hawks. So if we're looking at Dejounte's numbers, we're looking at 21.5 points, we're looking at 5 rebounds, we're looking at 5 assists, converting 46.8 from the field and 38.7 from three-point. Now, pertaining to the Knicks, I am not doing this deal. I am not giving the Atlanta Hawks 2 first-round picks and a starting level quality type player for Dejounte Murray. And the reason why I'm not doing that is because, one, we have already built amazing chemistry prior to the OG Anunoby trade, and then after the OG Anunoby trade, having to implement Precious Achiuwa. Malachi Flynn is kind of out of the rotation, but Precious Achiuwa and OG Anunoby have been able to fit in so seamlessly. More so OG. Precious is still finding his way. But now if you trade for Dejounte Murray, that's going to be another ball-dominant type player that we're going to have to implement into the rotation, into the offense, which I feel like is going to take away from Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. And on top of that, I'm not giving 2 first-round draft picks to Dejounte Murray, a one-time All-Star, and then now, like, why didn't it work with Atlanta? Why hasn't him and Trae Young and Quinn Snyder, why hasn't that tandem or the tandem with Quinn Snyder as the coach, why hasn't it worked? Now, there's been a lot of rumors that Trae Young and Quinn Snyder aren't getting along. Dejounte Murray and Trae Young aren't getting along. I'm not an Atlanta Hawk fan. I don't live in Atlanta, so I'm not entirely sure why it hasn't worked out. But it does raise questions. You got 2 all-star caliber players in Trae Young and in Dejounte Murray. And in an Eastern Conference where it's not that tough, they're very, very top heavy. You have maybe like 3 or 4 teams that are serious contenders in the East. But why haven't they been able to develop this chemistry and be one of those leading teams in the Eastern Conference? That's always boggled my mind, and especially with an off season. I get it. Last season, they made the trade for Dejounte Murray, and they had to figure it out on the go. But then they had an entire offseason for Quinn Snyder to implement a new offense, for Quinn Snyder to implement an offense that's going to complement Dejounte Murray and Trae Young together. And now this season, it's looking like it's going to be a disappointing Atlanta Hawks season. So that's something we definitely got to keep in mind. But if we're switching the focus back onto the Knicks, a starting 5: Jalen Brunson, Dejounte Murray, Dante DiVincenzo, Julius Randle, and Isaiah Hartenstein for the time being. I don't know, man. I don't know how I like that. It's just very discombobulated. If we dive back into the numbers, Dejounte Murray shooting 38% from 3, which, I mean, is not terrible. That's actually not a bad 3-point field goal percentage. But in today's NBA landscape, the offense is mainly shooting threes. And you need players that are going to be able to consistently knock down the 3. We know Jalen Brunson can knock it down. Julius Randle is up and down with his 3-point shot. Dejounte Murray is not known as a shooter. Dejounte Murray is more of a mid-range kind of game. He could definitely create his own shot, and yeah, he can create a shot for others. But I don't know. I feel like Julius Randle, that's why Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, and RJ Barrett didn't really work out. Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, they kind of have the same game where they like to attack the paint a lot. But if both of them are attacking the paint, then that's gonna just clog up the paint. And if you're substituting Dejounte Murray for RJ Barrett, unless Dejounte Murray is gonna stay outside of the paint, then I'm not sure if this could work, honestly. But besides giving up 2 first-round draft picks for Dejounte Murray, I'm not giving up 2 first-round draft picks at the trade deadline. If there's not anybody that is a significant all-star type of player that is going to change the trajectory of a team this season, I'm not making the trade. Donovan Mitchell, I've told Chris before in previous videos, if they make the trade, I'll be open to it. I understand that they have to make a move. They want to make a move to make the team better. I understand, and I'll give it a shot. I'll be very open-minded to it. But if we actually don't make a move at the trade deadline, I'd actually be happier. I'd actually be happier waiting until the offseason to see what the landscape looks like. I look as far as free agents, as far as All-stars that will get disgruntled and complain about their organization, and that will ask out. That always happens in the summertime. There's always one or two players that people absolutely do not expect, and then all of a sudden, Adrian Wojnarowski with the Woj bomb, or Shams with the Shams tweet, is letting us know that X player is upset with his organization and he's forcing his way out. And now that the Knicks have the assets, we have the first round draft picks, we do have some players, we have contracts to match up with Evan Fournier. I think the better route is if the Knicks wait and see what happens in the offseason. And as far as right now, I feel like the Knicks, we should just wait it out. We should just see what this team can do. I mean, we already made an amazing trade with OG Anunoby. I mean, I'll be one of the first people to admit, it's not that I wasn't a fan of the trade, but I didn't think that OG Anunoby would fit into this team so seamlessly as he's done. I think OG Anunoby has given this team a little bit of a higher ceiling. Prior to the OG Anunoby trade with RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley, I'm not sure like how optimistic I was in the team. RJ Barrett in the playoffs was very up and down, was very inconsistent. Emmanuel Quickley in the 2 playoff appearances, he had a horrible playoff appearance against the Atlanta Hawks when they lost in the first round in 5 games. Now, I understand Chris is going to get on my back about it because he thinks that I blame IQ for it. I understand that IQ wasn't the only player on the team that had a bad showing, but he was part of the team that had a bad showing. So that's one notch under his belt. That's a negative. And then the second appearance that IQ had in the playoffs was last season against Cleveland Cavaliers, where he wasn't a really big reason as to why we upset the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then in the second round against Miami, he injured his ankle and then he was out for the rest of the season. So, but with the trade to OG Anunoby, I just feel like going into each matchup, I just feel like we have a better chance with OG, who the past, 10 to 15 games that we have seen that he is a lockdown defender and he can hit the corner 3. That's one thing I think that I'm really, really thoroughly surprised with OG. I'm surprised of his offensive game. The corner 3 specifically. I did not know he was this good of a 3-point shooter, but I also did not know that he could create plays. He could put the ball on the floor. I was under the assumption that the offense that he was getting in Toronto was created for him. I didn't know that he'd be able to put the ball on the floor, attack the hoop. He has a nice little Euro step game to him. So I'm very, very optimistic about this season, and I'm also realistic. I'm not saying that since we got OG Anunoby, we're going to go into Philly if we match up with Philly and win. Like, Joel Embiid is playing ridiculous right now. He's in the conversation. He's been putting himself in the conversation for the best big man ever that's ever existed in the NBA. And honestly, like, I think it's granted because Joel Embiid, the skills and the talent that he's been displaying as of late has been insane. But again, I'm realistic. OG Anunoby being included on our team is not going to stop Joel Embiid from going crazy in the playoffs. And again, obviously Boston we got to worry about. Milwaukee just got rid of Adrian Griffin, and now they're bringing in Doc Rivers, even though that's a parallel move in my opinion. Doc Rivers he's a way overrated coach, and I don't think that's going to be able to take Milwaukee Bucks over the top. We always got to be worried about Miami. It's like they're like the sleeping giant. They're like the Walking Dead. They just wake up around April time, and then Jimmy Butler puts on his Michael Jordan shoes, and then he looks like MJ in the playoffs. So there's a lot of things that we still have to look towards to. There's a lot of things that we still have to prepare for. But adding OG Anunoby to this team is giving me a lot more optimism, especially seeing how he's been playing the last few weeks. All in all, this report with the Atlanta Hawks letting everybody know that they are looking for 2 first-round draft picks and a starting caliber type player. As it's pertaining to the Knicks, I am not going to fall for it. We are already on a nice positive trajectory. We should just wait it out for this season. Do not make a panic move because we feel like we need to make a move. Do not make a move for Dejounte Murray. Donovan Mitchell, honestly, in my opinion, don't make a panic move at all. Just because we're the trade deadline is coming up and we have assets, and yeah, you want to see the team improve, and don't make a panic move. If it's not a player that's completely really raising the ceiling of the team exponentially, then don't make the move. That's my opinion. But guys, I'm going to leave it there. I want you guys to leave it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about Dejounte Murray. Do you think the Knicks should make this move and try to get Dejounte Murray and incorporate him with Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle? Or do you agree with me and do you think the Knicks should stay put? But until next time, guys, I'll check you out on the next video. Go Knicks, baby.